All right. Well, welcome everybody. Hi, Jackson. Nice to see you. What? You're 16?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. I mean, not for you, probably. It's probably the normal course of events for you. All right, we're going to stop talking about you now, and we're going to start focusing on Shabbat. And I'd like to invite everybody to take a breath and do whatever you need to do to enter into a feeling of Shabbat for your body, your soul, your mind, whatever it is that you're carrying with you today. Now is the time to put it down and make some space for rest and joy and peace. I'm going to share our prayer book to the screen. And we are going to start on page 127. That's in the blue bracketed numbers. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. The candle blessing is on page 120 and 121, and I'd like to invite Tony Stanford to the Bima. Okay, first read this.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Okay, now light the candles. What? You'll say it. You'll say it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadnik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And for the Kiddush, we turn to page 123, and I'd like to invite Robert Rothman to the Bima.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. Thank you. Creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us sanctifies with mitzvot. In love and favor you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor you've given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
If you're able, I invite you to rise. Shabbat kodsho v'havratzon hinpilanu zikaron l'maaseh Thank you. You all may be seated. We turn now to page 140 in the blue bracketed numbers for Tov Lehodot. Tov Lehodot Adonai. Tov lehodot Adonai. Tov lehodot Adonai. The Baruch Hu is on page 146 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise. You may be seated. On page 148 in the blue bracketed numbers, I invite you to read with me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 152 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Kavod Malchuto, Leolam You may be seated. בכל לבבך וכל נפשך וכל ידיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך יום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין וקרקם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 157, I invite you to read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. $160. $162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל את ימים עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
The tefillah begins on page 164. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohi Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohi Avraham, Elohi Yitzchak v'Elohi Yaakov, Elohi Sarah, Elohi Rivka, Elohi Rachel v'Elohi Leah. האלוה גדול, הגיבור והנורא, עליון גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע מגין, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה קדוש, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיי, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, קדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Page 173, I invite you to read with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 174 is Ritzei.
Ritzei, Ritzei, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamecha Yisrael, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד, ותהי לרצון תמיד, עבודת ישראל עמך, אל קרוב לכל קוראיו, אל קרוב לכל קוראיו, פני אל עבדיך וחנינו, שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו, בשובך לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
We have come to Modim, our blessing of gratitude. It's on page 177, but first, as is our custom, we take a few moments at this time so that anyone who wishes can share something that they're feeling grateful for today. If you're on Zoom, you're welcome to put it in the chat, but also everyone is welcome to share out loud, whether you're on Zoom or in the room.
I'm grateful for you.
So it looks like Linda is ready. And Jackson, what are you feeling grateful for today?
I'm grateful for Jackson.
Amen.
To her.
Oh,
Aw,
thank you.
excellent. Amen to that. Who else is feeling grateful today? Shirley. What? You visited 2 seniors today? Wonderful. Amen. Who else is feeling grateful today? Okay. We're not overrun with gratitude today. That's okay. Sometimes, some weeks are like that. Freema.
I'm grateful that hopefully the weather will change so these allergies will go away.
Ah. Grateful that the weather might change so that the allergies go away. Charlotte is looking forward to her granddaughter's bridal shower on Sunday. I'm into that. I am grateful that our Yom HaShoah event observance on Monday was absolutely wonderful and beautiful, and I'm grateful for Noni, who did such a good job wrangling the other cantors and making it really, really such a beautiful evening and very, very meaningful as well. Thank you. Anybody else? Robert, you counted a minion today. We have a minion. I'm into that. We're always glad when we have a minion. We have more than a minion, which is even better. Excellent. Anybody else? Okie dokie. Page 177, I invite you to read with me. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, is on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. V'tov binecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol
We have come now to our quiet prayer. There are words in the prayer book on pages 180 and 181. There are words on the screen, but of course we can always use the words that are in our own hearts. We continue.
Iyo laratzon imre fi v'hagion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzori v'go ali.
We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Our Misha Berach is on page 371 in the blue bracketed numbers. And if you are on Zoom, you're welcome to put names in the chat of anyone for whom you are praying for healing this evening. And also everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Josh Sheldon, Paul Chappelle, Susan Sisler, Kenneth Brown, Barry Charles, Melissa Lumish, Bruce Lumish, Jody Siegel-Stein, Fiola Murray, Debbie Rubowitz, Wendy Hershey, Gary Hershey, Isaac Hockman, Deanne Lopez, Elizabeth Gallagher, Lennon Safe, Charles Slaybaugh, Joellen Fox, Valerie Pace, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Liza Nunes, Gina Marie Cortez, Janet Schlesinger, Jerry Jaffe, Janice Weiss, Katie Pandolfo, Amanda Alone, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicky Lightnaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Helene Smith, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Aki Yasuda, Stephen Belay, Monica Bayer, Sarah West, Hazel Tishkoff, Griffin Rose, Linda Kushner, Patty Ann Cubero, Lou Katz, Audrey Berlin, Alice Lerman, Joel Burson, Dan Weidman, Sylvia Hockfield, Harriet Lutzker, Paul Lutzker, Jane Anthony, Howard Feigelman, Susan Bilecki, Al Rubowitz, Mara Pandolfo, Leslie Dreyfus, Tracy Strumpf, Marlene Unterberger, Misha Fruman. Eileen Clark, Mike Erb, Nicole Hall, George Hall, John Holder, Della Holder, Vanessa Johnson, Juliet Dale, Maureen Dale, Adrian Walton, Yvonne Lewis, Ada Torres, Francis Torres, Anita Jones, Augustine Davis, Damian Colon, Jennifer Magoup, DeAndre Wynn, Chantel Colon, Brandon Lee, Jimmy Jenkins, Maxwell, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paines, Amy Balin, Carol Rosen, Kathy Garak, Bonnie Brunner, David Brunner, Donna Clement, Florence Schoen, Lenny Fain, Cynthia Wilson, Batya Ungar, Ernest Tornincasa, Leslie Sedlitz, Gina and Jacob Becker, Judith and Bob Quartz, Nicholas Quartz, Matthew Quartz, Joanne Snyder, Roberta Finelli, Eddie Levitt, Sheila Brenman, Ara, and Howard Pileski. Freema?
Mark Manis, Allie Campbell, Jeff Peltzer, Annalise Nero, Martin Bennett, Luz Gonzalez, Diana Gonzalez, Richard Kurlander, Kathy's brother Gabby, Alicia Serpy. Thank you.
Linda Kushner?
David Gershon, Stevie Zappelt, Jerry Zappelt, Phyllis and Lori Benjamin, Edna Goldhammer, Lana Epstein. Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom? If you're in the room and have names to add, I invite you to rise or raise your hand. Janice? Alan? Hillary? Ruth? Patty Ann? Anyone else? Shirley? Anyone else? We include also all of those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, as well as those who have been hurt in war and conflict around the world, including in Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank, but also in Lebanon, Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Ukraine, Haiti, Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, and many other places as well, too many places. And we include those who have been hurt in recent natural disasters, as well as those suffering in immigration detention or who have been hurt by ICE agents. Our Misha Berach is on page 371 in the middle of the page.
Berach Avotenu, Mekara HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu, Mekora HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. There's a Billy Joel song that goes, well, I've never had a place that I could call my very own, but that's all right, my love, 'cause you're my home. Do you know that one? No? Yes? Some people do, some people don't. It's okay. That song, it could have been inspired by a midrash in which Rabbi Yossi says, I don't call my wife, I call her my home. Do you think Billy Joel read that midrash? I don't think so, but he could have. Like, if he did, like, it could have inspired that song. Musician Philip Phillips tells his listeners that they should know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. I made Noni sing that as an anthem once at the High Holidays. I really like that song. But in these different cases, the idea of home is associated with love, togetherness, and safety. Home is where we can find our loved ones, where we will no longer be alone, and where we can feel secure, sheltered, and safe. Except when it isn't. This week we have a double Torah portion, Tazria Mitzorah. The first half, everybody's favorite Torah portion, Tazria, talks about various skin infections called tzara'at. It addresses their impact on a person's purity and how to address them. And it describes all the different possibilities of skin infections in loving detail. The second Torah portion, Mitzorah, begins by continuing to discuss one who has been isolated because of skin disease, but who is now cured. It gives the details for the rituals that are required to return the person to society. And then it goes on to speak of a time after the Israelites are in the land, will be in the land of Canaan, the promised land. God instructs Moses and Aaron, when you enter the land of Canaan that I give you as a possession, and I inflict an eruptive plague on a house in the land you possess, the owner of the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, something like a plague has appeared on my house. The priest shall order the house cleared before the priest enters to examine the plague, so that nothing in the house may become unclean. After that, the priest shall enter to examine the house. If, when he examines the plague in the walls of the house is found to consist of greenish or reddish streaks that seem to go deep into the wall, the priest shall come out of the house to the entrance of the house and close up the house for 7 days. The text goes on to say that the affected stones must be removed and the affected plaster scraped off. These should be replaced. If the affection returns, the house must be torn down. If it does not, the house is fine, and the same ritual is followed as is followed to allow a person to return to regular life. This is a strange passage in a Torah portion in which there is much that is strange to us. Because the text has God saying that God inflicts the plague on the house, our commentators agree that this is not a regular affliction of a house. It's not mold or mildew, it's not termites, it's not carpenter ants. We can also tell that the concern is not the actual spread of the contaminant, because until the priest declares the house impure, none of the furniture or other contents of the house is impure. In fact, homeowners are instructed to remove everything from the house before the priest inspects it, because once the priest says it's tzara'at and the house is impure, any stuff that is still left in the house at that point also becomes impure. So we can tell that this is a ritual contaminant, not one that involves germs or fungus. In the Talmud, Sanhedrin 71a, our sages say, there has never been, nor will there ever be, a house smitten with tzara'at. Why then was the law given? To study it and be rewarded for studying it. They didn't understand what it meant either. Torah scholar and teacher Nechama Leibowitz and others see this as an indication that we should study what the allegorical interpretations of this text might be. I read it and think about the concept of a home, which is where I began this drash this evening. What happens to love, togetherness, and security when home is afflicted with impurity, something with which holiness cannot coexist? And what do we take away from the experience of being alienated from home, at least for a time? We believe and want our homes to be holy places in the sense that they are set apart from the dangers of the wider world as safe spaces. For too many people, home is a place where there is domestic violence, and it is not safe there, not at all. Just this week, former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax murdered his wife Selena and then killed himself in their home. Domestic violence is an impurity in the home, and the holiness of being set apart from danger cannot coexist with it. We believe and want our homes to be holy places in the sense that they are set apart from the dangers of the world as safe spaces. For too many people, the safety of home is shattered by war. On October 7, 2023, many Israelis living near the Gaza border were attacked in their homes by Hamas. It was early in the morning, and most of them were still in their pajamas. Those who survived had to evacuate. Subsequently, many Israelis also had to evacuate in the north of Israel due to rockets fired by Hezbollah. Meanwhile, in Gaza, a huge number of people lost their homes and their lives due to the war between Hamas and Israel. More recently, home has not felt safe for many Israelis running to shelters multiple times a day as Iran fired missiles at Israel. And today, many Palestinians in the West Bank don't feel safe in their homes due to Jewish settler terrorism. This past Monday, we observed Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. And tomorrow, we will host a 97-year-old Holocaust survivor who will speak about her experiences. During the Holocaust, there was nowhere that was safe for the Jews in Europe and other Nazi-controlled places, and that included their own houses. Often, it was not a physical problem with the house, but that it wasn't a refuge that could prevent soldiers pulling the residents out and taking them away. On Monday, during our Yom HaShoah observance, we read from the memoir of Harry Baylor of blessed memory, a Holocaust survivor and beloved congregant who had to flee his home in Poland in 1941 when the Germans came. Most of his family did not survive. His experience was unique in its details, but not unique in the loss of home as a holy place set apart from the dangers of the world. Rabbi Kalonymus Kalmish Shapira, in the 20th century, looked at the instruction in our text that says, "The owner of the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, 'Something like a plague has appeared upon my house.'" I read that earlier. Rashi says that even if the homeowner is an expert and knows that it's a plague, when they go to the priest, they must say, "Something like a plague has appeared." Rabbi Shapira explains, a person is never able to tell if something that is happening to them is a curse or a fortuitous event. All he can say is that it looks like a curse. The truth, however, as the Torah announces, is that what God is doing with us is for the good of Israel. Rabbi Shapira wrote this in 1940 in Poland. He later died in the Warsaw Ghetto. How incredible that he could go on believing that something that looks like a curse might be for the good of Israel. Even in the face of something that we feel confident is a curse on us, can there be something good? Perhaps that sounds like blasphemy after I've talked about the way different kinds of violence can invade our homes and take away our safety there. And honestly, I don't believe that God causes terrible things to happen to people, especially not for the good of Israel. The part Rabbi Shapira says about only being able to say that something looks like a curse because in the moment we can't tell if it is actually a curse or not, though, feels both incredibly difficult and also like a way to help us not to give up. I believe that this is a call to faith, to hope, to a positive attitude. In Harry Baylor's memoir, at a point when he and his older sister Masha joined two other people in a cramped, smelly, bug and rat infested, really horrible hiding place under the floor of a barn, under animals whose waste dripped down on them in their hiding spot. Masha is quoted as saying, "People have committed themselves to us at great risk to themselves. That's a rare thing for us. It means we at least have a place to stay. However bad it is, we have a place to stay. It's the first time we've been even a little safe since the Germans came to Rutki, their little shtetl in Poland." What an astonishing way of finding something good in a truly awful situation. As hard as it can be, may we look for good in the things in life that feel like curses. May we be instruments of spreading good and helping both ourselves and others to find places of safety, whether physical or psychological or spiritual, places that can feel like home. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
What have we given to make our life better? What seeds have we planted to make our world grow? Who have we touched with the warmth that's within us? Where will the road lead us? This we don't know. Will we be silent in a world that is crying, or will we speak out the truths that may sting? Will the odds be against our reaching tomorrow, or has the time come when together we'll cling? So listen, you people who on the earth roam, search deep inside you and then look around. For only when truth reaches your essence may the source of our lives in the future be found.
Before we turn to the Aleinu, we are in the period of the Omer, and so we count the Omer for this evening. That's weird. The blessing for counting the Omer is on page 570. And you're welcome to join me in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shisha asar yom shehem shnei shavuot Ushne Yamim La Omer. Today is 16 days, 2 weeks, and 2 days of the Omer. And now we are going to turn to the Aleinu, the short or long? Short? Beginning on page 586 at the top of the page. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהים מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Hayom ha'u yeh Adonai echad.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598, and I am sharing our yahrzeit list for the coming week to the screen. Those of you here in person have that list in the green bulletin. If you're on Zoom and you have names of anyone for whom you are saying the Mourner's Kaddish, you're welcome to put them in the chat. And also everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Gisela Fassa, Tom Sten, Phyllis Panzer-Ehrlich, Gabrielle Miller, Eileen Shapiro, Jeremy Mayo, Brian Wilco, Bonnie Hubner, Celeste Cooperman, Robert Brown, Selma Chain, Douglas Wilson, Mary Katz, Ken Berkowitz, Joseph Donato, Rochelle Spitzer, Jennifer Blitzer, Terry Newman, Emil Maharis, Kevin Korstange, Wayne Perillo, Frank Spitznagel, Shelley Malbranch, Milton Platt, Ellie Greenberg. Included on our yahrzeit list for the coming week are Robert Baraz, Natalie Friedlander's cousin, Ira Eilenberg, Lynn DeNono's mother, Ilona Schuring, my aunt, Shirley Hyatt Tobias, Alice Hyatt's mother-in-law, Ethel Topkiss, Zach Topkiss's grandmother, and Irene Tornick, Michael Tornick's mother. We also include Dr. Vitaly Reichman. Freema?
On the list is Myron Klein. He was a longtime member of PTBAS. He was really, really great. And he was the partner of Mona Goldberg. And I have Ina Colcourt and Lois Breen. Thank you.
Thank you, Freema. I didn't mention Myron because he was also on the list last week.
Oh.
So I'm not sure why he was on the list again, but we did mention him last week. Also, Lawrence Frost, who is on the list this week, was also on the list last week, and so we also talked about him last week. But I will mention him again. Lawrence Frost was Nancy Frost's husband. Nancy is one of our co-presidents right now, and Larry, was a past president when we were Temple Beth Emeth. Anyone else on Zoom? Okay. If you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Alan? Ah. Thank you. Is he on the list? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for mentioning him. Others? Okay. We include also all of those who have died in war and conflict around the world, as well as those who have died from other causes, whether in famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. If you're able, I invite you to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mivarach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'ol kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
A few announcements before we conclude. Tomorrow, we resume religious school after the spring break. It's at 9:45 a.m. That also means that Daniel Keitel will be back with us for song leading, and he will lead Tot Shabbat at 10 a.m. At the same time, at 10 a.m., I will lead Torah study of the weekly Torah portion, which is, as I said before, Tazria Mitzorah. So we'll get to talk about it, and won't that be fun? It will be fun, honestly. At 11 o'clock, Shabbat services will be in person and on Zoom. And at 1 o'clock is when we have our Holocaust survivor coming to speak to us. And everybody is welcome to attend that. That'll be here in the sanctuary. There will be, I believe, some light lunch beforehand. But it would be great to have a good turnout for the speaker. So if you're able to be there, that would be great. On Tuesday is Gentle Chair Yoga and Gentle Qigong with meditation and Jewish wisdom. On Thursday at noon is Torah study with me on Zoom and choir practice from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Thursday, April 23rd. I want to mention two community events that are happening. These are with lots of the congregations of Brooklyn and other Jewish organizations. So on Monday, April 20th, from 6:45 to 9 p.m., this is, I think, not in the green bulletin, but it is in the What's Happening email. That's Erev Yom HaZikaron, the eve of Israeli Memorial Day. And Brooklyn Heights Synagogue is going to be hosting an event called Living On, Grief and What Continues. It's a community ceremony honoring Israel's fallen soldiers and victims of terror with participation from community members, students, and clergy. The second part of the evening will include a screening of the short documentary, The Speed of the Distance Between Us, followed by a conversation with the filmmaker Yuval Shapira. The film brings together intimate conversations with bereaved parents from across Israeli society and offers a nuanced look at the different ways people continue living after profound loss. You must register in advance. The link was in the What's Happening email that was sent out yesterday. And the event starts at 7, but people are being asked to arrive by 6:45 because there are going to be bag checks for security, and so it'll take some time for everybody to be able to get in. The second event is on Tuesday, April 21st, and it's hosted at CBE, Congregation Beth Elohim, on Garfield Place in Park Slope. Rachel Goldberg Polin, activist and mother of Israeli hostage Hirsch Goldberg Polin, who was hostage for a long time, and then just when it seemed that he would be about to be released, he was murdered in Gaza. And she has a new book called When We See You Again, and she will be speaking. She is a remarkable person and a remarkable speaker. And so it's going to be a worthwhile event. That's at 7:30 on Tuesday in the evening. It's a $36 admission charge, but you do get a copy of her book in hardcover with that. Pre-registration is also required for that, and the link was in the email, the What's Happening email that went out yesterday. Okay, other things coming up. Next Saturday, April 25th, will be our Yom HaAtzmaut event. Yom HaAtzmaut is Israeli Independence Day. At 1 p.m., there will be a light Israeli-style lunch and a presentation of congregants sharing about their personal connection to Israel. That's open to everybody. You don't have to pre-register. The karaoke that was supposed to happen the next day has been canceled due to low registration. And then we're almost to May, and on May 3rd, there's a Brotherhood meeting at 9:30 a.m. That's a Sunday. And at 10:30 a.m., Alan Zarrow is going to be speaking. Alan Zarrow, who is right here with us tonight, he will be speaking on the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights March, a personal tour of the route and sites. There will be pictures and time to talk. And Joel said the other night at the board meeting, Joel Moss, that Alan's presentations are very special because they're all based on his trips to these places and pictures that he took, and then he shares the history that he has learned. And so his presentations are well worthwhile. So that's May 3rd. Also on May 3rd is the Church Avenue Street Fair from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so when you're not at Alan's lecture, perhaps you would like to volunteer at our booth at the Church Avenue Street Fair. It won't be far away from here. That's what I just said. When you're not at Alan's lecture, you can go and volunteer to help at the booth, or at least stop by and say hi and be an ambassador for the temple. May 17th, there will be a drumming circle with Kyle McGee, no experience necessary. That'll be fun. And then in June, we have coming up the congregational picnic and our gala annual luncheon, this year honoring Emily Whitehead and Ellen Rothstein, the co-chairs of our membership committee, who richly deserve it. Thank you to Tony and Robert for doing the honors tonight. Are there any other announcements? Ruth?
Yes, Rabbi.
Oh, Jane, you go first.
Thank you. On May 1st is the Women's Shabbat services at 7:15, and the choir is all women, just so everybody knows.
That is true. That is May 1st. It will
May
be,
1st.
The services will be led by the Women of Shabbat, Women of Beshert, a sisterhood
Right.
organization. Thank you for that
Thank
reminder,
you.
Jane.
Thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom have announcements? Okay, Ruth. Okay, so Ruth is reminding us that there is a Caring Chesed Committee meeting at 10:15 a.m. this Sunday on Zoom, and on May 17th at 5:30 p.m. at East Meadwood Jewish Center, Shir Chadash, the Jewish Community Chorus, is going to be giving a concert, and Ruth has tickets, and they're $20. So you can see her if you want to get a ticket to that. Several of our congregants are members of the choir, of the chorus, and it is always a lovely concert. All right.
Is there an Artza Shabbat?
There is an
coming up?
Artza Shabbat coming up also. That will be in conjunction with Yom Yerushalayim. So that's still 3 or 4 weeks away.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be, let's see, it's 2 weeks. No, it's May 8th.
Oh,
It's May 8th is Artza. Okay. You'll get more details about that. All right.
Question.
Linda.
Yes, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's only in person, not on Zoom?
No, it is going to be on Zoom, and what we're going to do is we're going to just leave the service Zoom running. So if you use the Saturday morning Zoom link, and that will be also the lecture after services.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that.
Okay, 1 o'clock.
Okay. We are going to close with Adon Olam, a classic. Page 625 in the blue numbers in the prayer book. I'm going to invite you, if you're able, to rise.
Adon Olam, Hashem Allah,
Hashem Allah,
Terem Kol,
V'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
Le'et Nasa,
Lechefzo Kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kihlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nor Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hove, Ve'hu Yehi B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Allah,
Hashem Allah,
Terem Kol,
V'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
Le'et Nasa, Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'hu Echad Ve'en Sheni, Lahab Shelo Lahakbir Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'hamizra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Allah,
Hashem Allah,
Terem Kol,
V'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
Le'et Nasa,
Lechefzo Kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'hu Eli, Ve'chai Goli, Ve'tzochev li B'yitzara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Nisi, Humanus li, Menakozi B'yom Nikra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Allah,
Hashem Allah,
Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Lechefzo
Lechefzo
Kol,
kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yado Afkid Ruchi, B'intishon Ve'ahir Adon Olam, V'im Ruchi Geviyati, Adonai li Ve'lo ira Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Allah,
Hashem Allah,
Terem Kol,
V'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Lechefzo Kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha, Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen. And we're going to go across. Everyone's welcome to come over to the Oneg. But before we go, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
There's a
Shalom.
tzedakah box on your way out of
Shabbat
the
Shalom. Good
sanctuary.
Shabbos.
Shabbat
Have a
Shalom.
good
Thank you,
night,
Rabbi
everybody.
Heidi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.